Hi, I'm Simon Mannering, and I'm here with Gary Vee. And I didn't think there's anyone more appropriate to talk about this topic with. And in the social media space, you hear a lot of talk about doing the right thing, about social change, about appropriate behavior. Yet, what about arrogance? What about arrogance on behalf of a brand? No, but does a brand get the right to not only have a defined personality, but to really champion it in an unfiltered way? I mean, you've done that with your own brand, and it's worked to your advantage. Is there any advice you give other brands out there?
I think if a brand recognizes that it's doing the right thing, I think there's nothing wrong with a good dose of arrogance and bravado, because it definitely brings attention to the matter.
Right.
You know, it's a definite standout trait. And the reason I'm so willing to go there is because I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
Meaning, I know that my products, whether it's me or my retail company or my wine show, are so strong, I feel so good about them that, and I also know that if somebody calls me out on a feature, I know how well I'm going to handle it. It's literally like putting a spotlight on yourself.
You've got to be able to sustain that exposure. And I think the reason I'm asking this is you work with a lot of brands who are not only scared to get engaged, but it's scared to put their shoulder behind themselves, to really define who they are and then go to market in a really audible way.
A lot of times those products or individual products within that umbrella don't know what they are.
Right. Exactly.
So that when you're going out schizophrenic, you're already in trouble.
And all you're doing is broadcasting it to everybody. But tell me this, some brands who are getting into the space think, well, hold it, I'm just going to amplify the voice of the community. That's my role in social media. Or is it my voice that I'm putting out there? So what would you...
I think you heard what I said in there, which was, you never let the consumer define what you are.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, because I think there's a lot of danger in that. The customer doesn't know what it wants. I mean, you can be all mad at me all you want, and I respect it, trust me, and nobody gives... Can I say that?
Yes, this is a strength.
More about what my customers think than I do. At the same token, I could care less, because you have to have tunnel vision. You have to know who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, and you need to embrace and allow iteration. But you have to have laser focus.
Okay, but then a lot of people say that the community is in fact your IP. You've got to listen. The quality of your listening will determine how well you do, and your consumers, your customers, the community will tell you where you need to go next.
I don't agree. And listen, once again, you take in the community's input in a very major way, but when brands or products start listening to what they need to deliver, it's like palettes in my world. Everybody's got a different one. And you're never going to be able to appease any one set group. There's just never agreement amongst consumers. There just never is.
Okay, so how do you know when you've gone wrong? How does a brand then, if it's its own compass, how does it know when it's gone off course?
I've always said, and it stinks, I wish you didn't say it earlier in the room, because you're going to think, but you drilled it, which is ask, this is where I like other people's input. What do I stand for? What's Wine Library? What's Wine Library TV? When you can get 10 out of 15 people to give you a similar answer to what you are, you've done your storytelling. Now, if you get 10 answers that you don't like, then you did a bad job telling your story.
Absolutely, and just in terms of your personal brand right now, you've made a big announcement last week, and you're stepping away to focus on other things. Why is that? And for such a vocal, strong voice in this space, is it hard to walk away?
It's very hard to walk away, and I think my walking away is being kind of misbranded. I think my engagement will probably be the same level. What I'm doing is less this. What I'm doing right now, to be honest with you.
This could be one of Gary's last interviews.
For a little while.
We're going to fade out at the end very soon.
But, I'm doing a little bit less of this because I need to execute. I just need to execute. I feel like I've done a lot of talking.
And how long have you been talking? How long have you really been engaged?
My whole life, I know.
Listen, New York did.
Out of the womb. Popped out and started talking. I've been really doing a lot of talking for the last 36 months. A lot. And I think it's time for me to do a little listening.
You were talking about some exciting things you've got going on and coming up. Is there anything you can share with us, or is it all just too early days?
Well, I'll tell you this. VaynerMedia, which is, my social media strategy company as it's on paper with my brother AJ, is probably going to look a whole lot more like Y Combinator and BetaWorks then it's going to look like, JWT. So I can tell you that is probably one thing that I don't think a lot of people that are really paying attention to what I'm doing, outside of the ones that are really close to what I'm doing, they don't recognize that. They hear the big names that we're working with Forbes and working with Campbell's and the National Hockey League and the Nets. What they might not be recognizing is how many developers and designers I've hired, and how much I've angel invested in Tumblr and Gowalla and Daily Booth, and I'm doing a lot of clever things.
You're spreading your risk in very smart ways.
Yeah, I think so, and most of all, I'm doing a lot of learning. Right. For all my bravado in a boardroom amongst executives in a Fortune 500 company, there are things I'm learning, and more importantly, CPG companies have to spend an enormous amount of money every year.
Right.
It's the way the game is built.
Yeah.
Me learning how they think will only allow me to create a platform.
It's more cost effective, more efficient, and so on. So having come from the traditional ad world and be so grateful and appreciative of it and so connected to it still, if you've got a great economy with language, if there's one thing you could tell the traditional ad business right now that they need to do so that they can stay relevant, that they can create shareable content, give us a good one.
Social media is not media. The second word in social media is broken, and it's up a lot of your mindsets. You're trying to categorize it in a way that will not be effective.
All right. From Gary Vee himself. Thank you, man.
Stay well.